All right, lads. All right. Oh, yeah. We got a few in the chat already. Happy out. Happy out. Yeah. Happy Sunday to everyone. Happy Sunday to everyone. So, got plenty to talk about. Plenty to talk about after the weekend. Billy Joe Canelo, that absolute mismatch. And it was a mismatch. I knew that was going to happen. I picked the third round. I got it spot. I knew that was going to happen. I knew Yildirim, with the greatest respect, was going to get absolutely iced early on against Canelo. I absolutely knew it. That was shocking. How the W... I know he was his mandatory and all that, but how they can get, like, how they can mandate that fight for their title is beyond me. I swear to God, I don't know. Joe Parker, got a Parker video coming up ready for tomorrow. Man, that was crap. That was an absolute crap fight. Joseph Parker, he is the most frustrating heavyweight I think I've ever seen, or one of the most frustrating that I've ever seen. The guy has so much talent there. And the guy, I swear to God, he's got, it's so annoying because with Parker, you see someone who is just, decent, great, not great, but decent power, very good chin, good foot movement, when he's, a bit lighter, pretty much good in every department. Right, really, really good heavyweight. If you were building a good heavyweight, a lot of attributes of Joseph Parker you'd have in him. And the guy just, it's like he's happy to be in the main event of these fights. He's happy to be on these cards, and that's it. Never wants to really take, a bull by the horn or anything like that. Big up to the judge. I was actually clicking on Ben's comment, but big up to the judge. Good evening from the judge. See Billy Joe Saunders starting the mind games. I actually thought he was meant to be doing he was meant to be in Florida. I think that was what Eddie Hearn originally said, that he was meant to be in Florida. I seen the suit he had on, but I haven't actually seen the video. I did see the suit that he wore in the video. I haven't watched the full thing yet, but yeah. I did see. I'm gonna watch it probably, the ludicrous IFL video. No, I just seen the suit he had on, but I didn't see the full video. I have to have a look at that actually when we finish up here. May the 8th, Canelo, Billy Joe. They haven't announced the location. Now they're waiting, I reckon, until they're waiting until they figure out kind of where fans stand. Because I reckon if they could do it in Vegas with fans, they'll do that in Vegas with fans, definitely. But wake up to Johnny Boy. Suit and tie. Wait, I'm not going to play it. But I just want to see the image again. Because I'm obviously not going to play it for obvious reasons. But I want to... Oh, Mauricio Sullivan on Yildirim. Yeah, we need to look at... Oh, Mauricio Sullivan on Yildirim being the mandatory. I'm just going to read this real quick. We need to look into the procedure that is not working in same roads. There's things we need to go back and have a look at. The stage should have been for a much greater fight. So he's admitting that they fucking grossly overmatched Canelo against Yildirim. Yeah, but that was just terrible. I woke up for that fight. Where? Oh, there it is. So yeah, he's on Instagram wearing it. Oh yeah. Yeah, I seen the you know what. Jesus Christ, people. Billy Joe Saunders in a nutshell, lads. Yeah, I see it. Oh, I watched it earlier, but I just having a glance at it there. Yeah, Billy Joe Saunders in a nutshell. When they get these two in a press conference together, that is going to be some funny stuff. I can just picture Billy Joe, because Canelo's English ain't great. I can just picture his, I can just picture Canelo just kind of looking at some of the stuff Billy Joe is saying, just be like, what the fuck is this guy saying? Yeah, big up to Jim McDonald Boxing, big up to him. Big up to Jim every time, and hashtag G-Man's Rocks, of course. But yeah, if I did, did I not big up Johnny already? Fuck, if I didn't. Big up to Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy's got a good channel there. Go over and give that a look if I haven't bigged him up already. Joe, hello, G-Man. Big up, Joe. Yildirim froze and Parker underachieved. No surprise this weekend. Do you know what, Joe? When I watched when I was doing my prediction for the Parker fight, I was thinking in my head, this has 12-round UD written all over it. But then I started over, and I was going to Mark yesterday as well, and we both put down round 10 on our prediction leagues. We both thought the exact same. We both thought hang on a sec, this fight's going to be in New Zealand, pay-per-view over there, domestic clash. There's so much, like, this is a big event for New Zealand, for the boxing, two of their, top heavyweights fighting. I reckon both guys will bring the best out of one another, and I reckon Parker might take over and get the stoppage. Well, we were both way wrong. I mean, I was like, will I put 12-round UD on the prediction league? No, I'll put the 10th round for Joseph Parker. Same with Mark. And yeah, we were way off. That was horrible, by the way. Like, I woke up extra early to watch that, like, undercard. That Julius Long fight was fun, though. I don't regret watching that. That was fun. I really enjoyed that Julius Long fight. That was really, it's bad when the co-main event is a guy, rematching a guy over 8 rounds, and you get way more entertainment out of that than you did out of the thing, than you did out of the main event. It's just, man. DJF, speak your mind, sports, for the love of sports. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. What's up, brother? What's up, lads? D, speak your mind, sports, just past 2K subs, right? You're literally about, I think you said it was April 2nd. You can go back streaming on your main channel. Lads, D, love listening to him while I'm in work during the day. Absolutely great channel. That's not his main channel at the minute. He won't be streaming on that until, I said, April the 2nd, but big up to D every single time, man. Big up to you, my man. It's a pleasure having you in the chat. And Zili Zhang, that was unreal. I really couldn't believe that. You going life and debt with Jerry Forrest. It was entertaining, though. It was. But you're going life and debt with Jerry Forrest. Like, I was like, what the? Because I didn't watch that live. I just switched off and I was putting it on back on. And I was like, holy shit, man. I was like, Jerry Forrest looked terrible against Carlos Takam. And I was like, oh, man. It was fun. But Zili Zhang, I mean, why did Eddie Hearn sign him? Like, what's the benefit? Like, put it like this, right? He won't re-sign Michael Hunter. I would pick Michael Hunter every day of the week and twice on a Sunday to beat Zili Zhang. Every day of the week and twice on a Sunday. What was the... I know he's got, like, the Chinese fans and all backing him, but seriously, people. Yeah, dude was in survival mode. He literally 4 rounds in him. And then that was it. If that was a 12-rounder, he would have been screwed. You had Parker around. Yeah, it seemed like the logical pick for me. I kind of thought Parker would wear him down. And the annoying thing as well about that is that Joe Parker, early on, even though it was kind of the first 3 rounds were not great, but Parker was going to the body. He was investing. He was throwing some good shots. He was jabbing with his right hand. He was doing things early on in the fight. And I was starting to think, okay, maybe we can actually get a stoppage here. Going to the body, very good. I was liking what he was doing. Was throwing a few uppercuts to the body. And then he just stopped. And then he just stopped doing everything and just started, falling into clinches. And it's just, oh, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, April 2nd, the long-awaited return. Big up to I missed loads of comments, by the way, so I'm going to read them out there. Big up to Rich. Billy Joe losing by KO. Can't see that happening. Right? I asked a few people what their predictions is. Can't see that happening. Can't see Canelo stopping Billy Joe. Big up to Connor every time. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. Good evening. I think I got the... Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for one of these. Any update on Ali Drew? Well, I definitely have a better chance than Avni. I said it last time. I got a better chance than Avni Yildirim of beating Canelo. And my chances are still there. Slim, but still there. But Yildirim's were gone straight away. Pint of Guinness and G-Man live. That's it. We do every Sunday, man. Every Sunday. Even when these BS restrictions end, we're still going to do these on a Sunday. Might do them a bit earlier, when they do end, or a bit later, one or the other, but we get it. Can't remember a pound king. Man, I knew that was going to happen. This was going to be, I didn't think he'd be that bad. I thought he'd throw a few digs here and there, but Jesus Christ. It was pathetic, mate. But let's be honest, who actually wants to be Canelo? They all know they'd be visited by a hitman. Yeah, but to be fair, Yildirim, like as I said, Ali Drew and G have a better chance than Yildirim beating Canelo. Not sure Parker has enough belief. I don't think it's that he has belief in himself, man. His ability there. He's all the ability. he just doesn't seem to have that bit of dog in him. He has all the ability, but he just doesn't seem to have that dog in him. I don't even know if it's belief. It's just I can do all this. He could do it early on in his career, but lately, since he made the money, started making big paydays, it's just been like, nope. What's up, G-Man? What's your thoughts on Ryan Garcia not knowing famous boxers in an interview? Yildirim had feet like anvils. Yeah, he did. I know it'd be bad, but what was that? Yeah, Luca, honestly, mate, it was everything I expected it to be honest with you. It was everything I expected it to be honest with you. It really, really was. But, in terms of Ryan Garcia not knowing boxers, believe me, right? You'd be surprised how many boxers know very little about boxing. You'd be surprised how many boxers don't even watch boxing. You'd be very surprised about that. I remember Jamie McDonnell when he was fighting the New Way. In the build-up to that fight, he was laughing at the fact that he never heard of a New Way, never seen him fight, and he fought some other Japanese guy a few years earlier. Can't remember the guy's name, but he beat him on points. It was on a PBC show. And he said that he saw more danger in fighting the guy he fought a few years ago than he did in the New Way. All right. Well, he found out fairly quickly when he got in the ring with him. He got knocked out in the round. So you'd be surprised how many boxers don't know about other boxers. You'd be surprised about that. You find like guys like, Dylan White is a student of the game. He knows about boxing. But there's a lot of them out there who, I'm sure if there was a Sky Fight Night, like look at us, like we'd watch a Sky Fight Night card, right? I'm sure there's a lot of boxers out there who, even if they might have known a fighter, they'll just think, you know what, maybe there's something better on Netflix. There's a lot of boxers out there like that. Know very little about boxing. Seriously. Based on Saturday's performance, Parker will get battered for 12 rounds by Chisora. Parker just never seems to have the hunger to fight. Parker seems to have the hunger for a payday, but not for a fight. He's been getting decent paydays the last few years, and he seems happy to just go in there, do the bare minimum in order to win, and then that's it. Parker too close to Barry. Do you know what, man? Even at this stage, I actually can't see them. I actually don't think even leaving Kevin Barry would improve Joseph Parker, to be honest with you. I think he is what he is. He's just exactly what he is. It's exactly, he's talented, but he lacks that aggression. He lacks that that's why I get so annoyed with Parker. There's so much good there. Oh, lads, there is so much good with that guy in terms of what he can do. Feet are quick. Well, they're quick enough when he's in the 230s. But hands are quick, decent power, good chin, very good chin. Decent boxing fundamentals. You put all them ingredients into a bag of heavyweights, and everything he does, it's not amazing, but it's very good. He'd be like, every aspect of him is like a 7 or an 8 out of 10, which should be a very good heavyweight, but he just doesn't have the dog in him. Not even the dog. It's just so annoying. It's frustrating as hell watching him fight. It really is. And it's not just frustrating the fact that it's boring. It's the fact that like I'm like, I fucking know you should be beating guys like this with your eyes closed, mate. I fucking know you're better than this, but you're not fucking doing it. It's just so annoying. So I really used to rate Parker back in the day. Even before he beat Ruiz, I used to look at him and be like, this guy is going to cause problems, because he was letting his hands go back then. It seems like after he fought Taka, he gassed a bit in that fight. It seemed he became even more circumspect about, conserve strength. Don't do. Yeah. Ever since then, it was just like, it's been kind of downhill. What's your favorite, most entertaining, most ludicrous The Wire prediction or comment he's made over the last few years? Two that spring to mind. Rod Salka beat Danny Garcia. That was a brilliant one. I'll never forget that. That was brilliant. And I loved the 30-minute video we did on why Canelo beats Deontay Wilder. I like that. Richard The Wire should never change. He should never change. I also like the Gerald Washington beating Wilder. That was good as well. He should never change. He's the only man who will pick against the fighter. Like, I remember he picked Joe Hanks to beat Joe Joyce. Then he picked Joe Joyce to beat Daniel Dubois. Now, that was a good shout, Joe Joyce to beat Daniel Dubois, but Joe Hanks can't see Chisora. Oh, he can. Yeah, I can see that happening as well. Big up the gym. Well, mandatory title, yeah, we've seen it before, Ben. Though we've seen the IBF do it. Weak mandatories happen. You see, I think the whole point of Yildirim was he fought Darrell in 2019, early 2019. Darrell had to fight Benavidez, and Benavidez had to fight the winner. So realistically, that mandatory would have got out of the way early last year if things had been normal. So there we go. We therefore have this, but yo, shout out to Lee. Yes, G man. Slanet, I think is how I pronounce it, from Lamb. Yeah, if that's in Irish, my Irish is gonzo. I never did it, so good luck with that. Go evens for Canelo to finish. Oh yeah, that was easy money. Easy money. For me, Billy Joe Saunders never winning, but for me, Billy Joe just has to go and look good and just have people question the result like GGG. Maybe, yeah, you see, with Canelo, you do well against Canelo, even if you don't win. If you look good in defeat, there's a lot of opportunities to come from there. You know, Billy Joe has the fight. I'm looking forward to this, lads. I actually am. I don't know why. I'm just thinking this could be an interesting fight. I really am. Julius Long was the best value. You know it's bad when the main event, you're talking more about the main or the co-main in good quality than you are about the main. I mean, Julius Long, that was funny. He literally just lay on the ropes, taunting. I forget the guy's name. Ernino or something like that. A little 6 foot guy, you know, real short heavyweight, but he reminded me a bit of George Arias. That guy, you know, George Arias, well, he was with Top Rank at one stage, but that's who he reminded me of. Billy Joe operates differently on a higher level than Yildirim. Oh man, like I'm telling you now. Oh, before I say it, my rent is due. I need super chats. Oh, good luck, man. I'm hearing rumors it might happen in the UK, man. If that happens in the UK, I'm going over to it. I'm going over to that if that happens in the UK. I missed one chat. Oh, big up to Luca. Loving the vids lately. Thank you for the super chat, my man. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much. £5. I'll thank you. Every little bit helps. Thanks for supporting the channel. The vids are coming, man. And if you could, hit the like button. You got 67 in the chat. And how many likes do we have? We've 67 in the chat and we only have 21 likes. If we could, lads, I'm not going to ask much. I'm just going to ask, I'm just going to say it like that. Yeah, Mike, the Parker fight was terrible. It was. McDonald looked like that warmed up. Oh, do you remember that? He weighed like 118 and then he rehydrated to something like 140 something. Yeah, he looked like a heroin addict. He looked like a heroin addict who was really in need of some you-know-what. That's what McDonald looked like. If anyone's ever seen the weigh-in for James McDonald, how bad he looked, I never seen anything like it. I've seen people look bad, but I've never seen that. And I've seen Canelo look bad. Parker has no spite. There's no urgency or inner desire. I'm telling you now, man, I think all it is with Parker is that he's made the bag. You know, he got a couple of mil for Joshua and straight into another pay-per-view with Dylan White. He's been getting well paid by the zone. Oh, Parker versus 2, any interest in that since Parker's poor performance and White's KOs? Used to have an interest in it, to be honest with you. Used to think Parker would win the rematch. Said it a few times, but can't see it now. Can't see that fight. Can't see any interest in it. Used to, because Parker lost that first fight more than he actually Dylan White won it. Look at Parker late on in that fight when he really needed, you know, to get the bull by the horn. Just scrapped to a win with an out of shaper. Yeah, he scrapped to a win. That was close. You know, that was a close fight. For me, Joseph Parker won the fight, but it was very close. It was nip and tuck. I don't mind anyone who thinks that Andy Ruiz won that fight. It was nip and tuck. I bought into Parker hype before Joshua. Oh, you see, here's the thing. I don't necessarily say it was hype. Joe Parker was a good fighter. Very good fighter. But he's just done nothing since. It's just crazy. G-Man, did you hear about Vivian Albanoff? Yeah. I remember that last weekend. I didn't know about that up until last week. And I think I brought up Natasha Jonas and her loss to Vivian Albanoff. And someone mentioned in the chat that, she killed, she's arrested or something for murdering her husband. I was like, what? Because I didn't hear about that. And then when I looked it up, I was like, oh, all right then. That's not good. there's not really much else I can say about it, to be honest with you, man. I'm not 100%, privy to what's going on with, Vivian Ovanoff, but it's crazy. Lads, I got 71 of you in the chat, right? Don't have to be a long comment, but I want to know your guys, just even Canelo UD, Billy Joe UD, Canelo KO. Put it in the chat who you think's going to win this fight. I just want to get a general opinion of who's going to win. All right? So just in the chat. Canelo UD, Canelo KO, Billy Joe points UD, split decision. I'd like to know what you guys are thinking with this announcement of this fight, who you're picking. Because I'm curious. I'm real curious to see if we're going to get a trend going. All right? Doesn't have to be a long essay. Just want to see what the general consensus is. Canelo UD, Canelo UD, Canelo UD. Saunders has no chance. Canelo KO. I don't rule it out, but I don't see it. I don't see it. Majority decision. That's that I really would be surprised at. I'd be surprised if we saw Canelo UD, Billy Joe by KO, TFM. I'd like to know. If you're okay, fair enough. I would like to know that, but I'd like to know what your reasoning behind that is. KO. If Canelo can take Kovalev's power, well, he didn't really get hit flush, but I would suspect Billy Joe. That's the least likely outcome I could see, is Billy Joe stopping Canelo. Canelo KO, well, UD or KO, so basically Canelo to win. Corner retirement, KO. Billy Joe split decision, possibly. You see, Canelo's the sort of guy where you could get a split decision and it really should be unanimous against him if you win. Canelo KO. Ian says Canelo KO. Interesting. Yeah. That is the one outcome I literally cannot envisage. Is Billy Joe stopping Canelo. Cannot see that. I'm gonna bring it out again. I'm gonna say it again. It's a slightly better chance, but I give Billy Joe as much chance of KO and Canelo as I do of taking Eddie Drew out in the next 6 months. There, I said it. Unlikely, but not impossible. There we go. I said it. I brought that up because we had a good laugh with that. We had a good laugh with that last time. Indeed, he did, G-man. Canelo controversial decision. That's going to be interesting. I'd say a few people are going to say that that's going to be a controversial decision. Canelo shocked the world, KO. Wouldn't be a shock to me. Canelo is no way knocking out Billy Joe. I can't see it, to be honest with you. Not me personally. I can see a win for Canelo, but it's going to be a dubious one. I think Billy Joe will put on. I telling you now, lads, we're going to see. I'm just going to say this here. I'm going to pick Canelo, but I reckon we're going to see the best Billy Joe Saunders that we've seen since the Lemieux fight in here. I reckon we are going to see the best Billy Joe Saunders since the David Lemieux fight in this fight. It's just my personal opinion. I think Billy Joe is going to be firing on all cylinders. I think he's going to look very good in there. Whether he wins, I mean, I'm not picking him personally. I'm not going to be picking him. The general consensus is Canelo to win this fight, but by the way, Billy Joe was supremely talented, but can't imagine him getting the decision win over Canelo. Stranger things have happened, though. And one thing I've been saying, and here's another thing as well, right? And this is actually, there's two things. This is Canelo's last fight with Matchroom and DAZN because it's only a 2-fight deal. I wonder if he's not gonna, if he's not gonna fight with DAZN after, you'd imagine you'd get fairer officiating. Because what reason would DAZN have to, be biased towards Canelo with scoring and refereeing? They wouldn't. Certainly, if it's not going to be a long-term deal. So, like with HBO and Showtime, when he was deals with them, yeah, he would get treatment from the judges, this, that, and the other. But this apparently, he could be fighting on PPC in September if he doesn't decide to do another one with DAZN. So, maybe he won't get. Maybe we'll see some, because we've been seeing a lot more fair scorecards on Canelo fights lately. Depending on how Billy Joe, those body shots are going to be a killer. Billy Joe is not cutting as much. They get down to 168, so his body might be a bit. They're still going to kill him, but it might not be as bad. Canelo getting a decision, but Billy Joe deserving the win. Ooh, Canelo late stoppage or point win around the 116. Yeah. I'm right on the money with that as well, Joe. I think you're about right. I reckon it'd be one of them, a 116, 112 scorecard or a 117-11 scorecard, which probably some rounds in there that really are Billy Joe rounds. Up the Limo, even the G-Man, hashtag G-Man. Rocks, of course. Reckon it be points, but I don't know what way to go. I'm going with Canelo, personally. I'm going with Canelo to win this fight on points. And yeah, 77 in the chat. Yeah, it's a good little live chat, you know. But mate, like, what do you think? It's a Sunday in the middle. It was a lovely Sunday in the middle of a lockdown. There we go. That's why we get. I wonder what the chats are going to be like when the lockdown finally ends. I'm still going to do these every Sunday, but I wonder what it's going to be like with when the live streams or the lockdowns end. Billy Joe to knock Canelo down. Oh, Billy Joe can knock him down. I was wondering. I was like, what? You think he's going to knock Canelo? I was like, oh yeah, to knock him down and still get a draw. Lara 2.5. He'll definitely do more than Lara did. Lara really ran around the ring. You know, I watched that fight several times. Every time I've had it, I scored at 115, 112, or 115, 113 to Canelo. Lara just ran around the ring. Even to Halim, good evening to everyone. No such thing as a decision victory against Canelo. Even if you knock him out with a clean shot on the chin, referee will rule it a low blow. Yeah, Canelo does get favorable treatment. We've known that. We know that. I'll be still here, TS. Big up to Connor hanging in there. I'll be hanging in there, yeah, but I'll still be here. Oh, man. I can't wait to get back to something. Do anything. Biggest pro is Billy Joe is at least in shape now. So that's the thing. The best Billy Joe is Billy Joe who's active and in shape. Like Tyson Fury was saying he wants Billy Joe to have another 2 fights before this fight. Like, I mean, I don't know why he said now. I know he's in with Billy Joe, so he'd know a lot more. But I remember when Billy Joe had that, I think he had like 10 months out of the ring, fought Willie Monroe, and then he fought Lemieux 3 months later. That's the best. When we see Billy Joe sharp, he's very good. Billy Joe has never excelled at super middleweight. Yeah, well, consider he fought that guy, a Sufi, who wasn't that great. You know, he really wasn't that great. He lost to one of Anthony Yarde's opponents. Remember that? And then he fought that Carasas guy who was a middleweight, and he's gone back down to middleweight. And then he fought Martin Murray, a middleweight. Literally. So he's been fighting middleweights at super middleweights. He has literally been fighting middleweights at super middleweights. So, yeah, I think that Billy Joe, his best weight is 160 pounds, but I wonder will he move back down if he loses, or what will he do if he loses? Win, lose, or draw. I hope we see the best of Billy Joe. That's what I do. That's what I think as well. You know, win, lose, or draw. So long as we see a good Billy Joe Saunders in there, I'm happy. You know, the last thing you want to do is see Billy Joe go in there and just not try. You know, just not try. Just go in there and be like, the hell with it. I'll do a Callum Smith and just try and get through the 12 rounds. No, try and go in there and try and win it. It's a shame for Billy Joe not being busy over the past. Yeah, like when he won his title against Andy Lee, he was 26 years old, and that was 5 years ago. It seems just like he's done absolutely. I know he's won another world title, but it seemed like he had so much ready to go, and then that. You know, it's just crazy. Does light heavyweight Canelo beat Zhilei Zhang? I mean, Zhilei Zhang, he is. Do you know what, right? Zhilei Zhang, Eddie Hearn should be looking at some of his prospects like Fabio Wadley coming up and thinking, do you know what? I wouldn't mind putting him in there against Zhilei Zhang. I just don't understand why he signed him. I know people have said Chinese money and all that jazz, but seriously, you go in life and death with Jerry Forrest. It's really not good, people. It was a good fight, though. I mean, I thought that was a 10-round UD written all over it for, you know, Zhilei Zhang. And then I was like, holy mother, what's going on here? I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. But, yeah, Junior the Nobody Fab beating average Joseph Parker. Parker won it. No, he did. He won it. I went back and had a look at some of the rounds. Yeah, he was nicking rounds, but jeez, Lord have mercy. It's just crazy how bad that fight was. How much you think Julius Long weighed? He was 326 or something like that, Joe. He was like 326, and it showed. He had the dreadlocks like Lennox Lewis. He looked like, basically, that's an out of shape David Haye. That's more an out of shape David Haye. Imagine David Haye fat as a pig and 6 foot. No, he was 7'1". Then that's what it is. That's David Haye. Dwyer, man, he's a legend. Yeah, he was 326. He is a legend. Yeah, I think a lot of people, I thought Forrest done enough to nick it personally. I thought personally he did. I was surprised that Forrest was down, to be honest with you. I thought that Forrest would, I didn't think Zhilei Zhang could really punch that. Like, obviously, he's a heavyweight. He can obviously crack a bit, but I never thought he would have been able to drop Jerry Forrest to beat it 3 times of all that. Tommy Fury versus Hughie Fury on the zone. I seen Tommy Fury last night. I mean, talk about matching someone carefully. He has been fed an absolute who's he of cream puffs and just, oh, Lord have mercy. He has been fed some absolute cream puffs. The guys he's fighting, none of them, not only do they not have winning records, the majority of them don't even have any wins at all. Seriously. The majority of them don't even have any wins. Jesus Christ. The lad last night, 9-0 or 0-9. I think there was a few other guys who had the one before, I don't think had a win on his record. I think he's had like 3 opponents who got no wins on their record. Yeah. And the first thing they mention, the 2 things they always mention about Tommy Fury, been on Love Island, and he's 3 million Instagram followers. I mean, like, seriously. But Jesus Christ, man. Hughie Fury or Tommy Fury. He's being trained by Peter, or not Peter. He's being trained by John. So we'll see how that goes. But seriously, Hughie Fury is only 5 fights. We'll step up eventually. I see. I get that, but there's beaten guys who are poor, and then there's this. Like, even Anthony Yard, some of them had better records than this. I'm not saying something. Anthony Yard was matched so carefully when he turned pro. Like, Tunde Ajayi really didn't want. If you even imagine someone be like, I can imagine Tunde, Lions in the camp. Oh, he threw a double jab. Oh, fuck, he's not going in there next to Anthony. He's too good. Jesus. Jermaine, big up G-Man and the chat. Yo, big up to Jermaine. Every time, man. Big up to you. Am I alone to think in looking at Canelo's physique and wondering how he got it? He's built like a tank without an ounce of fat on him. Could be legit, but the fact he's failed tests before is suspicious. Yeah, like, he's always going to have that with the Mexican meat thing. But Canelo, you could see it even years ago that he's just one of them naturally thick, heavy set guys. And people always said his physical strength, like even back down at 154, people were saying his physical strength is incredible. So Canelo's always been one of them. Just, there's guys like that who are just I've known guys like that, right? Maybe not they've definitely not been as big and as thickly set as Canelo. But I've known guys who are real muscly, and by their own admission, they've never set foot in the gym. They don't even do that much training. It's just their natural physique. It's just how their body structure is. Like, Canelo, when he turned pro, was 140 or 147, and he was only 15. So he's been filling out gradually over the years. Lads, what time was the fight? Irish time. Set an alarm for 4. Woke up, it was done. Yeah, it started about, realistically, it was kind of about 3:30. And that was the thing that was catching me out, because I seen loads of website reporting that actually it'll be a 4:30 a.m. start. Loads of them. Like, I seen loads of them, even in the, like, as far back as like midnight last night, saying ring walks 4:30 a.m. But I was like, here, this is in Florida, not Vegas. So they might do it earlier. So that's why I was glad. I was like, oh, caught that just in time. I was knackered. I was absolutely knackered. And then I recorded that. Then I recorded the Billy Joe vid straight after. So it was like 5 a.m. when I got that. And you're saying when you go after recording and all that, you're not going to sleep. So I think I only got like 3 hours kip all last night. It's not too bad. I don't mind. It's not the end. It's not too bad. I feel fine now. I feel absolutely fine now. Bivol, Andre, Charles, still good test for Canelo. All unbeaten. I think Bivol gives Canelo a world of trouble. I think his speed will give Canelo an absolute world of trouble. Parker and Luke Campbell are competing for the top spot of most frustrating bloke in boxing. I'd say Parker is more frustrating than Campbell. Campbell is good, but I think Campbell's found his ceiling. I know that sounds mean, but I think he definitely found his ceiling. In terms of like Parker, there's so much good there that's just not being fulfilled. So much good. I see Billy Joe winning most of the early rounds, but turn it into a war late. BJ engage and getting knocked down and getting on his bike. And the knockdown, getting Canelo decision. Billy Joe being negative. If Billy Joe does get dropped, then definitely he'll. I reckon he will. I reckon Billy Joe, if he does get dropped, now not to say he will get dropped. I said if he does, I reckon he will just get on his bike and just be like, the hell with this, I'll coast it. G-Man and Ellie Drew channel needs to happen. I walked myself into that on Tuesday with those comments. Mark tagged me and her on Twitter on something. I think I forget what he actually wrote, but yeah, he tagged me and Ellie Drew on something on Twitter. I was like, thanks for that. Appreciate that, mate. But yeah. I remember that I left the link to our channel and everything. I left the link to I'm not doing it again, by the way. I left the link to that boxing, what was it, boxing quickfire or something like that. That was funny. And people going and commenting. Yeah. Appreciate that. I don't know if that channel will ever happen, mate, to be honest with you. I don't know if that channel will never happen, but that was funny. That was funny. I walked myself into all that, though. It's my own fault. Parker stopped, or Chisora stops Parker if they fight like he fight for. You see, I think Chisora might force Parker to work a bit more, but Chisora be all over Joseph Parker. Like, the only thing about Chisora I worry about is his stamina. You know, he can definitely, put it on Joseph Parker, but can he hold up that speed or that pace for 10, 12 rounds? I don't know. I'd imagine he might be able to. If that fight happens in the UK, make no mistake about it. If this fight happens next, I'm actually going to pick Chisora. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Del Boy's going to win it. I'm going to say War Chisora is going to beat Joseph Parker. And like I'm doing a video as soon as I finish up here about Joseph Parker and what I think needs to happen. I'm going to upload it tomorrow, as you know, because I really did, oh Jesus, no. Parker, no Usyk. That would be, Usyk would beat Joseph Parker. I mean, Jesus, it just, he just frustrates the shit out of me. Ali G. Oh, mate. And another hashtag Ali G. Oh, God, lads. What are you doing? Put Ali G in the comment section of that channel. You mean my channel or the boxing quick? Please, no. Please don't do that. Please don't do that, lads. Ali G. That would actually be funny. But seriously, that would actually be quite funny. Angel Cabalesso, hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Hey G-Man, will you do a live for Gonzalez Chocolatier or Gonzalez Estrada 2? A live as in live commentary? Possibly. I will eventually start doing them, mate. I will. I'd need to probably update StreamYard, because I think if I was to do this, see, I'm on the free version and I get 20 hours a month. And if I end up doing live, they could go on for 4 or 5 hours if I'm covering the whole card. So I probably have to update the full version. But watch-alongs are something I'm going to look into doing. I'll tell you this. I actually figured out how to stream live from my phone through YouTube, which is actually a lot simpler than I thought it would be. It was literally just a case of just click and go live. But I've done it privately, so none of you could see it. So I might look at doing that. The reason why I like StreamYard is for simple reasons like this. I could bring up your chat. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, if I didn't already say thank you. Appreciate the $5. Thank you. Appreciate that a lot, mate. Really, seriously. Thank you for helping out. And that's the main reason. I love being able to bring your comments up, even if they are like that. Hashtag AliG, hashtag G-Man's Rocks. There you go. The two hashtags going. Boxing to Ali. Yeah, hashtag AliG. Is this going to be a recurring thing now when I do live streams? Like, literally, right? Hope that camera's all right. Is this going to be a recurring thing now when I do live streams that, like, everyone is going to be like, yo, hashtag AliG, Go on to what is it, quickfire boxing, and just be like, yo, hashtag AliG, hashtag G-Man's Rocks, all that. Man. How much is the paid StreamYard? There's two versions of it. I'm not 100% sure how much the paid one is. I'm not. I'll tell you now. Actually, if you give me 1 sec. How much is the paid version of StreamYard? Oh, it doesn't actually say. I think it's about. It's not dear. I know it's not dear, but I cannot remember how much the paid version is. To be honest with you, I know it's not mad expensive, but I don't see. I thought about doing the paid version of StreamYard at the start of the year, but I don't stream enough. So I don't. Well, I'd stream a good bit, but I don't stream enough to basically thing. I don't stream enough to warrant me paying for it. The one thing I do notice about the paid version is that if I was doing interviews and I didn't want to do it live, because there is one interview I'll be doing next month and I don't want to do it live, we can record it kind of, and I can save it and edit it down, which is something I might look at doing for that one-off interview. Because I just don't want, I don't, this one interview that I'm hoping to get next month, I don't trust the live chat because God knows what might get asked. So I was saying I'll do that one. I'll do that one behind the scenes. And yes, Ali G will never go. Oh man, I think it was Ian Ward there. Yeah, it was him who asked me how much of a chance did I give Yildirim against Canelo, and that's where I said he's as much chance as I do with Ali G. And ever since then, so it's technically your fault, mate. Even though I'm the one who said it, I'm putting the blame on you, right, for that. Love the streams, G, man. Love to see Canelo versus Benavidez. That would be a good fight. Benavidez is a problem for Canelo. Seriously, Benavidez and the guy Bivol, those two guys are problems. They're big problems for Canelo, I think. Boxing Sauce, big up to you, my man. And there we go. Impodium, sub peeps. Man, we're having a good chat. We got 79 in the building. If you could, lads, it doesn't cost anything. Smash the like button. If you could, please. Hashtag LEG. There you go. I said it myself. Hashtag LEG. Yeah, stop, man. You're going to creep that, man. Yeah, that's why I'm saying don't fucking do shit. Don't do it. Leave it out, lads. Please. Leave that out. That's why I'm saying don't fucking do shit. I don't want that. Because what if I ever meet the fucking girl? I'll be just like, oh, shit. Good luck. Yeah, these new should make that. Nah, man. I'd be like, fuck that shit. Instead of hashtag it, just smash that like. That's what I want. Would like to see 3 round robin. Would like to see the 3 around robin with Ioka. Well, I have heard, right? Now, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, right? But that Sora Vasai, who is he fighting? He's fighting next week, I think, right? I think he's fighting next week or the week after. I'm just going to double check that here. Right there, sec 2, sex lads, right? Yeah. Yeah, so he's actually fighting on the 13th in Thailand against the guy who is 50-7. All right. So this fight here is basically his quote unquote final eliminator. So if he wins that fight, he's mandated to fight the winner of Estrada Chocolatito. Okay. Now he said, well, he's quoted as saying that he's going to take a step aside. So he's going to step aside and let the winner fight Kazuto Ioka. Now, if that happens, lads, that is a fight I want to see. Kazuto Ioka versus the winner of either one. I think Estrada is going to win. I think Juan Francisco Estrada is going to win the fight on points. It's going to be a hell of a fight. You know, you have Chocolatito, who was so active and very accurate with his shots. And you have Estrada, who is extremely, extremely precise in that. He's probably one of the most, he is like a little mini Juan Manuel Marquez. He's a great counterpuncher. You know, he's just to establish supremacy over the two. You see Gonzalez beaten. You see, that's the thing. If Gonzalez does beat Estrada, I'm not ruling that out, by the way. Rumvasai and Gonzalez, I get the impression that Rumvasai just has Estrada or Gonzalez's number. I really do. I just get the impression that he has just his number. I really do. I get the impression that doesn't matter what they do, he'll always have that envision of A, that night in New York, and B, that knockout. That was some knockout, man. Jesus Christ. Chisora stops Parker. Here's another one, right? We got 72 in the building. what are your thoughts if we see this fight next, right? If we see it, because there's nothing confirmed. If we see it next, what are your thoughts on Chisora Parker? Who would you get in that? Who would you pick? Derek Chisora versus Joe Parker. I'd like to know what the consensus is on that fight. Because that's an interesting fight, lads. That's a very interesting fight. I'd like to know what you guys think on that. So I'd be interested to know who would get, after what Parker did on the weekend, all right, and that absolute, just it was just terrible. It was terrible. It's a good job we didn't well, it was £2 a month on the zone, but other than that, it's a good job we didn't have to pay for like fully pay-per-view like they did in New Zealand, because that was just terrible. I just couldn't believe that you had these two guys. And again, like, I'll touch on this more in a separate video, but you two guys trying their damnedest to, well, not trying their damnedest, they weren't doing, that's a poor choice of words, but you two guys who were New Zealand's 1 and 2 boxer, top two, 1 and 2, Parker and Fa. This was kind of getting boxing out there in New Zealand, going out on pay-per-view, and they go and produce something like that. It was never going to be a classic. It was never going to be a Bo Holyfield. But like that, really. So here we go. Chisora split decision. Chisora's not KOing Parker. That's not going to happen. That definitely, that's one thing I can't see. Parker's got a good chin. Chisora, Parker UD split decision. Parker on points, but Parker needs to change something, because at this point he's wasted talent. He's not going to change though. He's too set in his ways. You picked Del Boy. Yeah, you picked Chisora to bully him around the ring. I think this is the consensus. Parker will be forced into a fight against Del Boy, and Chisora might bring out the best in Parker. That's what I'm thinking as well. I'm thinking, like, if you have someone who really does put it on Parker, he might be forced to fight to try and keep you off him. That's what I'm thinking as well. He might be actually forced to try and, box his way out of it to try and keep you off him. And I reckon that's something that Chisora might actually end up doing. I really hope that that's what happens, because I know myself that Joseph Parker is a better fighter than what he shows, but he's just so flipping. Oh man, it so annoys me. Do you know that Chisora and Wallin beat Parker on current performance? Do you know what? Otto Wallin, I probably would pick him at this stage over Joe Parker, because Joe Parker just doesn't want it. Joe Parker just doesn't want it. He just does not want it. And it's so fucking frustrating, because I know how good he can be. I know that he's a good fighter. I know that he's better than what, we see in there. And it just annoys the absolute crap out of me when I see Joe Parker in the ring. It really does. It just absolutely talented fighter, loads of potential, just doesn't do it. Just does not do it. It's just so flipping annoying, So, but I'll definitely be intrigued to see him against Chisora. Definitely. If we get that. We should have got it in 2019. We didn't. We should be getting it now. Is it just me who feels mind games are pointless against Canelo? Yeah, I think Canelo, I don't think there's much point playing the mind games against Canelo, to be honest with you. He seems to be just switched on enough that it would just go over his head, to be honest with you. Parker is an overachiever. I don't think he is. I think that, if anything, he could have done better. He could have. I remember when he was the IBF mandatory for AJ, when AJ just won it. I remember loads of people at the time saying how dangerous that was, and would Eddie Hearn put him in there with Parker? Well, we got the answer to that. I like Parker, but doesn't have the beast inside of him. No. And you know what? Maybe it's... Now, I've never been to New Zealand. I don't know many people from there. But I wonder, is it a cultural thing? And you could say David Tua, he was anything but, Mr. Nice Guy. He was a beast in the ring. But if you looked at Junior Fa, again, he was kind of... Like, he just kind of was like, after the fight and he lost, it was almost like he was just happy to be there. Did you get that impression of him, that he was just like, well, at least I try it. I got an A for trying, and this, that, and the other. And I was just looking at it, and I was looking at it on the way, and I was like, what the hell? Like, you almost look like you're just happy that you were there. You've just lost, and one judge has given you a round in a fight that you were very competitive in. Does that not bother you? Or when apparently Parker fought Wilder. Just remember that. Apparently, remember, they got this announcer. It was a female pundit, then she said that Joseph Parker, and this is what she actually said. She goes, "Well, Joseph Parker's the more experienced. This is a guy who can take from his experience being in there with Deontay Wilder." And I kind of stopped and was taken aback, and I was like, "Did she actually just say that?" And I was watching it on the Zone app, so I was able to just like rewind, and I listened to it, and I was like, "Yeah, she did actually just say that." She actually said Joseph Parker but Joseph Parker should learn from his experience with Deontay Wilder. I was like, I hate to burst your bubble, but he didn't fight Deontay Wilder. I think things have gone stale with Barry. Parker's just a trainer, but can't see it. Don't think Parker wants to leave New Zealand. I think that does he not, like, before the lockdowns, was he not basing his camp in the States anyway? I was nearly sure he was basing his camps in America. Canelo is crazy active and I'm loving it. Yeah, I can't, but it's very rare we see that. Imagine a pound for. Do you remember Mayweather? Before he started fighting in May and September, he could take 14, 15 months out of the ring and have another fight. It's crazy. It's crazy the way Canelo was active like this. It's great to see. I mean, like, seriously, like, we should be. Look, say whatever you want to say about Canelo, but Canelo is active. Canelo is fair play. Like, that's what I get. I love watching him. I really was I was annoyed watching this fight. Yeah, it was great to see him out there, but I knew this was going to happen. I knew he was going to fight Yildirim. I knew Yildirim was going to be like a human heavy bag, and it was just annoying. I was just looking at that and I was just thinking, come on now. If you wanted a cherry pick, at least, like, people were saying that he froze, but like, I've seen Yildirim fight like that before, and just with the hands up, as I said, he's like a poor man's Arthur Abraham. If you remember Arthur Abraham when he used to fight, Abraham would do the same. He would just have the high guard up real tight. He would punch with you. He threw very few punches, Arthur, especially at middleweight. At middleweight, Arthur Abraham could really crack at middleweight, and he threw very few punches. Like, if you go back and watch some of his defenses, for the first 3-4 rounds, Abraham used to do nothing. Like, Arthur Abraham used to not do anything, literally. And when he moved to super middle, like when he fought Ramirez, like when he fought Gilberto Ramirez just literally just did what Carl Froch did. Just used his height and reach, just kept moving, kept boxing, and that was it. Abraham just had the high guard up, didn't do anything. It was crazy. You probably shocked the wire. Yeah, he actually picked Yildirim. I mean, there you go. There's another one of the wire's legendary picks. Benavidez is an issue, but I think Canelo beats him. Bivol, yeah, D, I'm going to agree with you on that. I think the speed of Bivol, his punch selection, his footwork, it's a good fight, but I think that's going to cause Canelo a world of issues. I think Bivol is fantastic. I'm not exactly happy that they're going to put Bivol in there with Craig Richards. No disrespect to Craig Richards at all, but Craig Richards, really, for me, he should not be in there. Like, Craig Richards has won a British title. That's fair enough. That's well and good. But he should not be in there. Should not be in there with Dimitri Bivol. He is going to get absolutely iced. He is going to get iced in there by Dimitri Bivol. I think that's who he's fighting next. So I think we're just waiting, because Craig Richards said he's up for it. But this is a guy, like, he drew against a guy called Chad Saunders. That was only about a year ago, and he's coming off the back of a decent win, to be fair, for the British title. But why is he getting the shot against Dimitri Bivol? No disrespect to the guy, but he shouldn't be in there with Dimitri Bivol. No way. That is it's way too big a step up. JL, yes, G-Man, slap the like button. This man's a grafter. Man, I just got into the habit of uploading loads of videos, and I just keep doing it like that. That's all I know, is just record videos, this, that, and the other. There's nothing else to do. We're in the middle of a bloody fucking lockdown in Dublin. We can't do anything else, so record video. Literally what I do. Work on the YouTube channel. Yeah, Parker is based in Vegas. Yeah, when I know, because he normally has his training camp set up there. When our crowd's back again? May the 19th, I think, in the UK. I think that's when the crowds are back. It's not going to be full crowds, though. Hopefully. I'm optimistic, right, lads? I'm optimistic that we'll get full crowds in this year. I'm optimistic, right? But we're not getting them in May. Full crowds anyway. We'll get like, to be honest with you, even if there's a couple of thousand, just to give you that atmosphere. That's what I love. I love the atmosphere. You miss it. It's just terrible with no fans. Will Saunders get a fair shake from the judges? I reckon he will. No, I reckon he will. I reckon they'll give him a fair shake. I reckon Billy Joe will get a fair shake from the judges. I can see that. He'll get a fair shake. Because as I said before, this is Billy Joe, right, fighting Canelo. Canelo doesn't have a long-term deal with the zone. So I reckon that there won't be much, not that there won't be much interest. They'll probably want to keep him on. But he's not going to get any favorable treatment, I don't think, Canelo. Certainly not if he's not planning to stay long-term. Freddie Roach is in California right now. One of the guys he's training is that bloke, 160 Callum Walsh, who I mentioned a few weeks ago. Yeah, I still haven't looked him up now, to be honest with you. I have heard about that. I've heard Freddie Roach training with him. I have to have a look at him. There's so many fighters coming through that I haven't looked at yet. Oh, I read that already. Yeah, I think he will. I meant to click on this, actually. Yeah, he's the Kid Galahad of the heavyweights. Yeah, that's Junior Fa. Junior Fa is going to be a real spoiler. That's what he's going to be. He's going to be a real spoiler. Tony Oka used to be like that a bit in the amateurs. Tony Oka used to be a bit like that in the amateurs. He used to spoil a bit. Since he's turned pro, he's looking a little bit better. But I remember Yoke in the amateurs was spoiling. And lads, actually, I meant to say, right, I was looking at, one thing I want to start doing, I'm not going to cover it on the channel properly, but just for my own sake, because I don't do it enough. I don't watch enough amateur boxing. I want to leave you a link to a guy I think it has a future, a serious future when he turns over. He's turning over after the Olympics, right? He's Cuban. He's a lightweight. And I'm going to leave a link, right? When you finish up here, 2 secs, have a look at that. When you finish up here, guy's name is Andy Cruz, right? He's Cuban. He's a lightweight. Lad, you need to have a look at this guy. I'm really hyped for this guy. I was watching him last night and watching some of his amateur fights, and I was like, holy, he reminds me a bit of, he's way more active, but reminds me a bit of a Guillermo Rigondeaux. Seriously, he reminds me a bit of Guillermo Rigondeaux, but more active, right? I'm definitely telling you, that was one guy I was looking at last night. Actually, you know, a bit of sweet pea in him as well, but more of a kind of Guillermo Rigondeaux, but more active. So links there. If you, whenever we finish up here, I recommend you go and have a look at that. Have a look at a few highlights. Benjamin Whittaker was one to watch after the Olympics. Yeah, no, Benjamin Whittaker. I haven't seen much of him. There's a guy from Kazakhstan. His name escapes me, but he's a middleweight. Oh Lord, his name escapes me, and I can't think of his name. He's a Kazakhstan middleweight. I cannot think of the guy's name, but he looks amazing. Kazakhstan are breeding some of these amateurs for serious success. Where do you watch amateur fights? You can get them on YouTube. You can get them anywhere. Now, I wasn't watching live amateur fights. I was watching highlights last night. Well, not highlights. I was watching them just as in they were already done. But yeah, there's some of these amateurs up and coming. Some of them I'm looking at and I'm just thinking, yep, these guys, the Kazakh, believe you me, in 10 years, we are going to see so many world champions from Kazakhstan. It's not even funny. Because some of these guys are unbelievable looking. G-Man, what's your view of the great Edwin Valero? Edwin Valero was an absolute beast. I've watched so many of his fights and highlights. It's a shame that everything that went on, you know. I think we all know about Edwin Valero, what happened. But, man, they were talking about a fight between him and Pacquiao back in 2010. I think Pacquiao would have won that fight, but that would have been an absolute, that would have been fun because Edwin Valero threw punches. He was aggressive. He could bang. He was 27-0 with 27 knockouts. Oh, man. Man, he was something else. I suppose we shouldn't be surprised at Parker's lack of passion against subpar opposition. He didn't exactly let it hang out against Joshua. No, he didn't. If he's not really going to go and take the bull by the horn against AJ in a unification for a world title, he's really not going to get, you know, much up again. He's not going to do much against What's the guy's name? Junior Fa. And you're saying you loosen off. No, no, this guy's still an amateur. No, this guy's still, I'll get his name now in 2 secs. And I'll leave it. I'll let you know. Because I have a message here what I was talking about him, but it's from ages ago. But no, he's what is the guy's name? I'll leave a link in the chat. But no, I know who Yulusinoff is. And Yulusinoff is a good fighter, but it's definitely not him. I have a old text with the guy's name, and I'll let you know. Okay, I can't pronounce his name, but I'm going to spell it, right? Because his name is extremely difficult to pronounce, right? Extremely difficult to pronounce. Give me 2 secs. His name is Kazanki Alexander. So as we know, Alexander Usyk has his name, or is it Alexander Kasianke? No, actually it is. It's Alexander. I'll spell it. It's like Kyzhnia. He's Ukrainian. He's a middleweight. Yeah, he is a middleweight. And this guy is unreal. This guy's going to go places. Seriously. Seriously. This guy's going to go places. So look out for him. Alexander Kasayanki, I think his name is how you pronounce it. It's a weird name. Yeah, I agree. Was a beast. What an unfortunate ending. Handsome star in the making. Yeah. You said it was with a H. No, it was. Wait there. I'll get it for you. I'll leave a link to his fight in the chat. I'll leave a link to this as well in the chat, and you can go and click on it. I have it here on 1 sec. There we go. Sorry for being quiet there. I'm just trying to get this link. There we go. There's a link to his fight there. So, again, after that, I'll go and recommend you watch this guy, Alexander Kasayenko, I think or I can't pronounce his name, but he is very good. So these are some of the guys you want to watch. But yeah, Andy Cruz is incredible. Looks great. So he does. Looks amazing. G-Man does have a strong thick neck, helps take one. Does have a strong thick neck help one take a shot? I don't think so. If you look at Andre Berto, look how big and thick his neck was. And Andre Berto had no chin to speak of. And you look at Gerald McClellan, long, lean, not much of a big chin. Or not much of a big neck. He had a great chin. So I think there's a lot of things about people's punch resistance. I don't think having a massive neck will help. I really don't. Some people say it does, a bigger shock absorber. I don't think it does, personally. As I said, look at Andre Berto. Andre Berto is real stocky and, thickly set, big neck. And no, he doesn't have he's no chin to speak of. Oh, you pronounce the H because the K is silent. All right, well, me and names. Me and names are just, they don't go. They don't go me and names. So that's why I leave links in the description or in the chat, because God almighty, some of these names I look at and I'm just like, nope, can't pronounce it. Ain't going to try because I'm only going to butcher it. So I just leave it be. Leave it be. And Wesley's loving the content. Man, I'm liking doing it. This stream's been a bit all over the shop though this evening, but we had loads in, which has been good. 73 in the chat. These good lads, smash the like button. We'll go for another 20 minutes or so. Sullivan is now questioning the mandatory. I mean, like, Sullivan's questioning his own mandatory. Why is he questioning he's the one who ordered this. It's his own fault. Yildirim should never have been in there. Absolutely should never have been in there. Like, it's just weak mandatories have always been a thing, though. Weak mandatories have always been a thing. Like, look at Kell Brook. Before his mandatory was Errol Spence, Kevin Bizier, Jojo Dan. They were his two mandatories with the IBF. It's just crazy. Love your channel, been watching for ages. How long? I always find it interesting to know how long people have been subscribed for me for. How long have you been sub for, man? So I've been doing this about a little over 2 years now. I'd love to know how long some of you guys have been sub to me for. UK fighters seem to lack the toughness of other nations. Again, I think a lot of it is down to the amateur system. Amateur system in the UK and in Ireland. Ireland is look. I was only watching Paddy Barnes versus Jay Harris tonight, this morning actually, and I was like, look at Jay Harris. Jay Harris throwing big, heavy shots, proper pro. Paddy Barnes, amateur, just throwing punches, nothing on him, scoring points to get Jay Harris off him, and Jay Harris just bludgeoned Paddy Barnes. That's a great fight, Jay Harris versus Paddy Barnes. That is like such a good fight. I was watching. I actually thought it went 5 rounds, but actually only went 4. I was only watching it this morning. It's a great fight, Jay Harris. So straight after the first interview on Ade's channel, yeah, I really hope we get back on. I want to get back over there, like eventually. That's what 2020 was such a write-off. Like, because I had so many plans, even just lads' holidays. I had so many plans for 2020, and they all went up in flames. They all went up in flames. So this year we are going to get the traveling in, not just like for boxing. We're going to boxing shows this year. We'll try and get some interviews with fighters and do some just do some for the channel, and get back to the UK, get to some shows, get something going, because the channel is reasonably big enough now that I might be able to get, and I know a few people as well, so I might be able to get some media passes, like media credentials just for interviews and stuff. So that's what we do. WBA Super even call mandatories. No, they call them for the Super, but they don't call them for the regular. They call them for the regular. They don't call them for the regular. They call them for the Super, or they try and consolidate. It's just the whole mandatory system is just a mess, man. It really is. You need them because people should earn. Like, it's fair, like they earn their right. But when they recycle and when they give them to the next, like, it's imagine like this, right? So say Usyk didn't want to fight for like the WBO, they'd recycle like this guy. It's just ridiculous. And you can get like, think of it like this: Bogdan Dinu was number 3 with the WBA. Number 3. What the so since May 2020, not sure how many you had. This time last year, I was on course to hit 2K by April, and then lockdown happened and everyone's channel just stopped. Like, it wasn't just me, it was across the board. Everyone's channels just stopped. No subscribers. So I reckon I had I think May, I got like 40 subs that month, which was nothing. So I would have been at 1,800 or so, give or take. So, yeah. And the goal this year is to be a 4K by then. And I could easily get there by May, easily. Goal is to get there by the end of March, start of April. G-Man, what's your thoughts on people who say UFC are real fighters? Because everyone fights, everyone's a real fighter. Some people say about UFC is more, they're more rounded in the sense that they do wrestling, this, that, and the other, jiu-jitsu, stuff like that. UFC has never been something that's interested me, to be honest with you, mate. I've watched UFC, don't get me wrong, and MMA like Bellator. I've watched it. I've watched certain fights, but I would be a casual. It just doesn't interest me. I don't, and I've tried it. Like, and people have always said, try watching these cards. If you like boxing, you like it. It's just never. I respect them. Don't get me wrong. I respect the art, but it's never been something. It's never been something that I've really religiously got into. Like, I mean, like, I've done all-nighters for UFC before. I remember when Ronda Rousey, the fight before she fought Holly Holmes, she was in Australia, I think, fighting there. We stayed up all night for that. I actually like the women in UFC and MMA. They're actually fun to watch. But no, man, it's never been something I've got into. It's never been something I got into, to be honest with you. It really isn't. I don't find UFC aesthetically passionate, as pleasing as boxing. Yeah, you see, I think the purest. I know some mates who are very, very hardcore UFC fans, and they always explain that they love seeing every style, this, that, and the other. But it's, again, like, I've tried my best a few times, and I've never got into it. I've never been able to sit down and just be like, never. Craig says here, big up G-Man. Ade is where I came across from. You keep up the great content. Yeah, man. Ade kind of pretty much got this channel off the ground. Like, I was going nowhere until Ade gave me a dig out. Literally, I don't even think I didn't even have 100 subs until Ade gave me a dig out, and it just kind of snowballs from there. So now it's been good, and I'm staying on until we get to Ade's live stream, because I'll just pop a link to his live stream, and then we can all pop over there. So I'm staying on until about half. Stay on until half, and then we'll give Ade. We'll get Ade like up to 100 views real quick, you know. So he's got loads of support in there, and who knows? Who knows? I'll definitely be in his chat. I'll definitely be in his chat. I'll even chuck him a super chat as well. I always chuck him a little £5 super chat just to say, you know, thanks for all that. Your content is good with solid community, G-Man. You will get there. It's a marathon, not a sprint. That's it. I just love watching it grow. I'm just old school. I just like watching it grow. Like, just see it grow. Just makes me happy. That's all I want. Yeah, I'm like G-Man. Love boxing. Like female MMA more than men's. Yeah, I like the female. I think the female MMA, like Amanda Nunes. I used to love watching Ronda Rousey when she was like in her prime. You know, that was fun to watch. I didn't like her particularly, you know, in terms of like how she was, you know, outside the ring. But in terms of watching her in the ring, I used to love watching her in the octagon, actually, not the ring. So the women MMA, Cyborg, people like that, I prefer them. Now, I watch women fight as well in boxing, I do. But it's not something I'd religiously watch, like, to be honest with you. Like, I wouldn't follow Katie Taylor or anyone like that. Don't follow Katie Taylor too closely. I don't follow like Chantel Cameron, Savannah Marshall, people like that. I don't really follow many women fighters, but I do watch some of them. Terry Harper, I think, is actually not too bad in terms of a fighter. Terry Harper is actually fun to watch. She actually is quite entertaining. The game was great when Hatman gave you a shout out. Yeah, big up the Hatman. Now, Hatman's good people. Hatman's cool. Now, me and him are tight. Me and him are good. Now, big up the Hatman every single time. I tried my best to sound like a Kiwi. The Kiwi accent is, I think it's way different. It's softer than the Australian accent. You know, it's much softer than the Australian accent. It's much softer than the Australian accent. Don't like watching the UFC. Yeah, I don't like it either, man. I'll watch it if the lads are watching it, obviously, but it's never been something I've got into. You know, for years and years and years, it's never been something I've really got into. Never been something I've really got into. I'm glad Canelo GG won't happen. It would be bad beating, especially at 68. Yeah, I've seen it twice. I'm fairly sure I know what the outcome will be in the third fight. I don't really want to see it again. You know, I don't. Then look, if we see it this year in September or something, I don't think we will. I think we'll see him versus Plant. I know someone told me in a comment on my Canelo video that they think Canelo will get schooled by Caleb Plant. I never rated Caleb Plant. I think he will get absolutely I think Canelo and I think Benavidez both smash Caleb Plant to pieces. Terry Harper is very committed. Yeah, she's a good fighter. She actually is one of them fighters when I watch her. She actually is very good technically. You know, you see a lot of female fighters, they tend to, some of them actually look good technically until they hurt someone. They look all over the place. Terry Harper's actually very good technically. She is actually quite a good fighter. You know, she's definitely. When I watched her against Natasha Jonas, now I thought she lost that fight personally, but it was it was close competitive fight. It was actually a very good fight. I really enjoyed that. That's one of the very few female fights I really enjoyed. I definitely thought that, you know, from a technical point of view, she looked very good. You know, G-Man, what are your thoughts on the alpha male, beta male thing? Is there a truth to it? Do women really care about over the type of masculine? Do women really care about over the type masculinity man who's full of himself? I'll answer that question. Yes and no. Yes and no. I've seen the whole alpha male, beta male thing is very true. You know, it is. I've seen a load of beta males who just, they let their woman walk all over them. And like, I've had women tell me that they want, like, literally nice girls who said to me that if someone's too nice, they're just like, nope, it's a bit, but like that. I've had other women who have been around like alpha males and they've just been like, nope, nope, don't want to know, don't want to know. They get kind of, how do I put it? There's one person I can think of, and she is just not bright. And when I say not bright, she's just a very poor judge of character. She actually is quite smart, but she is surrounded by beta males. So when she sees an alpha male, and I've seen this because I know the people she hangs around with and the company she keeps, and they're all little beta males. They're all like, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Oh, we look nice. Oh, this. Oh, everyone's happy. All this. The minute she met a beta male, she was just like, I'm freaked. What the fuck? He's too manly. Seriously. It wasn't me, by the way, but I knew the guy she was seeing. Well, I wasn't seeing him, but he was trying to get into her, and she was just like, nope, I don't know what's going on. Woman magnet, G-man coming through for the boys. No, I can just speak on experience, mate. It's hardly that. The amount of things I've seen, not just to me, to other people, you learn from things. You learn from things. You learn from things. Well, that's it. That's exactly it. When shit hits the fan, alpha males go into action, beta males run. And that's exactly it. That's pretty much it. I've seen that as well. Look, I don't. These are subjects that I'd love to talk about, and I will. But for YouTube, they're so sensitive about all these. Seriously, they really are. Like, you've no idea how sensitive they are about these kind of things. That I just try and kind of like avoid it if I can. That's why I have I'm trying to get like the proper equipment, the recording equipment, so I can get like a proper podcast going on Patreon, because I don't want to keep using the normal mic I use, because it's all right, but I want to get a proper one to do like podcast formats, and I want to upgrade. The laptop I'm using is a HP, and it's about 6 years old. And I want to get it, and it doesn't. It's so old I can't even download OBS on it. That's how bad it is. That's how old it is. I can't even download OBS. So that's why I need to get upgrading. G-man, start a new channel, dating with. No, man, I don't want to keep bringing her, because people keep bringing her up, and it's like, I don't know the girl. Like, she's a nice girl, but I don't know her. And if I ever met the girl, like, I'd be just like, yeah, I'm the fucking dope who has the fans who keep mentioning you. I don't mean you, mate. I'm not calling. I'm just be like, I'm saying I'm the dope, not you, by the way. But I wouldn't do that. I think if I was to do another channel, I'd just call it G-Man Talks or something like that. I wouldn't call it anything major. It's like G-Man Talks or something like that. I remember last year, the start of January last year, I did actually plan on doing a second channel. That went tits up. I still have it, but I don't even know what the password is. So that's gonzo. Thanks, G-man. I knew it wasn't the boxing question. I know some women like alphas, but I just can't see why be with an arrogant so and so, but at the same time, men are. Yeah, I think that you need to find a compromise. Personally, me personally, I've always felt look, and this is just me personally, and this is some people may not like this, some might not work for some, but any girl I've ever seen will tell you the exact same. When I'm with them, I'm great, but I'm very much, how do I say it? I don't. How do I word it? I wouldn't be the kind of lovey-dovey kind of person, if you know what I mean. I'd be just kind of like, if they want to do it, they want to do something, they can do it. But I'd be, you know what I mean? Like, I just kind of like, I'm like, fuck it, if you know what I mean. I'm just kind of like, fuck it, do what you want, but just whatever you do, don't expect me to be fucking telling you, where I'm going every 2 seconds. So, because I've had that before, where someone was like, oh, are you going with your friends? Yeah, but I want to see. I was like, oh, well, I'll be finished when I'm finished. You don't know. You don't dictate that. You don't dictate who I see and this, that, and the other. That's a no-go. Whereas I know some guys, I can think of one person off the top of my head years ago. He went out with a girl who was crazy. She was crazy. And literally and this was like his first, she curfews and everything for him. And Gobshite was abiding by them. It was just ridiculous. And I was like, no wonder your relationship is in such a state. You're in by 10 and you're in your 20s because your girlfriend says so. It's like, what the fuck, man? Feminism is becoming masculine, apparently makes zero sense. Yeah, feminism is a joke. It is. When I look at like the whole feminism thing, if they want to give women more opportunities, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But the way they're going about it is just ridiculous. Like, as many of you will know, right? I'm a big fan of F1, right? Love F1. And there's a racer. Now, she's not an F1 driver, but there's a racer called Tatiana Calderon. She's from Colombia, right? And she is, and look, it's the nicest possible way. She's as slow as molasses. She's garbage. She was racing not last year, the year before in F2, which is like the series below F1. And she was in with a very good team, right? Her teammate, Antoine Hubert, who sadly died actually, he died in Spa it was a horrible accident. It was horrible. He won a couple of races and she was as slow as molasses. And she was still getting opportunities to be reserve drivers in F1. And it was nothing more than the fact that she was a woman. And in the nicest way, that's what it was about. And you just think to yourself, that seat went to waste, because that was a winning team. And every race she was in, she either qualified last or close to last. And her teammate, Antoine Hubert, was always in the top of the grid. And only there was a racer called Mahavir Raghunathan. Lord Mahavir is what they called him, who was one of the worst drivers you'll ever see. Only he was in the same season. She would have got a lot worse of a time with the roasting. But Lord Mahavir, I mean, he was funny. He's not a racer anymore, I don't think, but he was funny. That guy was just like danger on the track. I remember he used to take drive. He was funny. If you've ever watched racing drivers, if you're into cars or anything like that, watching this guy race was funny. He cut corners like they weren't there. He ran into drivers who were leading the race. He couldn't. Oh man, it was funny. He cooked his engine because he never switched his car off. They left the engine running when he spun, and the engine actually cooked itself. He was funny. I mean, it was a mandatory / stay busy fight. Yeah, it was a mandatory, but it was a weak mandatory D. Of all the mandatories you could give, that was. A part of me thinks that a mandatory should expire. So, like, Yildirim is mandatory for 2 years. Do you not think that's too long? That, like, a mandatory after a prolonged period of time, unless there's like unbelievable, it should expire. Unless like you physically can't get the fight or something like that. But if you can get, it should expire, or you should have to defend the mandatory position, if you know what I mean. So, like, say Yildirim is mandatory, but he's mandatory, but he's not fought. Instead of just giving him a straight crack, would it not be like, right, you've been mandatory for this long, you have to put that, like, fight this guy? Because it just seems to me like he was happy to sit on that mandatory, get a couple of mil to fight Canelo, and that was the end of that. Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but he made a rake of cash. Had a woman last year, slowest thing, and gave out to me when I didn't get for her being slow, and then said it was me. Ended up, man. I definitely. Well, if you see my current predicament now, the predicament I'm in, which I'm not going to get into, you'd know I'm not the man to be taking advice on this off, because believe you me, I make things way harder than they need to be sometimes with things. It's crazy. What's Richard Riakporhe doing? I'd like to know myself. Richard Riakporhe, I'm not convinced about him in the slightest. I'm serious, lads. I am not convinced about Riakporhe in the slightest. I really amn't. Really, whatever about Riakporhe, there's never been a time where I've looked at Riakporhe and thought, I see a potential star here. I've never seen it. Not Richard Riakporhe, certainly not. Now, he could prove me wrong, but I've just never really seen. He doesn't even. You see, he was a Dylan White fight, but he doesn't even get mentioned, I don't think, with Dylan White now. Is he even still managed by Dylan White? Because he didn't fight at all last year in any of the undercards. Gee, man, I like boxers who fight no matter what, who stands in the way, at least go down fighting. Exactly. Like, he just, as I said in my post fight, he just did a good impression of a heavy bag. Riakporhe is apparently fighting on White's undercard, WBA Eliminator. Oh, really? I was surprised, because Dylan White normally gets his fighters, the fighters he manages, like Babbage. I know Babbage is injured, so he won't be fighting. But he normally gets his fighters on his undercard. So I did think that I was actually surprised when Riakporhe wasn't fighting on any of Dylan White's undercards last year. I really was. Richard Riakporhe. When was the last time Riakporhe fought? Wait there a sec. December 2019. It's the last time Reactpor's 31 years old. I didn't know that. Holy shit. I thought he was younger than that. Jesus. There's some fighters who really do. Their age surprises me. I really thought that if you looked at Jay Harris, you never think he was 30. Reactpor, I didn't think was 31. There's some fighters who with age surprised me. Babbage versus Gassiev. Gassiev, definitely. He would light Alan Babbage up like a Christmas tree. Alan Babbage is fun to watch. Love watching Alan Babbage fight. But I'm not unrealistic. I know Babbage is like, he's more like a gimmick. You know, this kind of guy who just runs out charging all this. It's like, it's fun to watch. And don't get me wrong, I think it's great to watch. Man. But he really is a guy who just runs out and, you know, as soon as he fights someone who can box a bit, as soon as he finds someone who can box a bit, it's just, yeah, he's gone. So feel sorry for them. Man, what can we do? What can you do? They choose to be like that, though. Unfortunately, they do. They choose to be like that. I can't. I think that's one reason why boxing gets such a bad rep, because a lot of fans of boxing will be considered alpha males, and that's why boxing doesn't get a lot of funding. I mean, boxing. Remember when they done that, like, you know, sports? They were digging sports out in the UK, and they wouldn't give any funding to boxing, but they'll give it to a sport like darts. Darts, seriously, a pub game. You're giving funding to them, but you're not giving it to boxing. Like, okay. Garcia is about a week younger than me. I think he's like October 1993, and I'm September 1993. He's like a week younger than me, and he looks, yeah, he's 27. Morat Gassiev is 27 years of age. I don't know what they are feeding him. I don't know what they're feeding that guy, but he is an old-looking 27-year-old. He really is. He really, truly is. He is a very old-looking 27-year-old. I'll admit that. Known too many. I know a lot of them too. It's just, you know, it is what it is. Better watch Eyeball Big John Fury. Man, John Fury, his interviews are gold. They are literally gold. What's that say? These mail order bride do is let the women take whatever they want. Again, like, there are so many things. Like, I could probably do a whole podcast on it, to be honest with you. And that's why I'm looking at getting some new equipment and stuff like that, to be able to do them, because I just don't have the equipment set up properly to do it. Like, I need a new laptop. I need a lot of new things. I need a new, well, the mic I have is fine for what I use it for. Well, my mic is actually fine for interviewing, and it's fine for the videos I do. But if I want to do a proper podcast, I'd need a better mic. I definitely need a different mic, a mic that kind of sits up, because I could do it in my bedroom then and just record it like that. That's the whole plan anyway. But YouTube needs to pay a little bit more. YouTube doesn't, it's not bad. It's a nice little bit of pocket money, but it does need to pay a little bit more than it is to be able to get to there. Love Alan Babbage. Yo, shout out to Tony. If you've been commenting before and I haven't seen it, apologies. Because the chat's been just hectic this evening. Boot versus Coogan at catchweight of 190. Man, you got to give Tyen Boot that. You know, winner gets a bottle of Echo False. Man, Tyen Boot, I listen to him all day. He is just a funny motherfucker. I just love listening to Tyen Boot. Coogan. Remember what he was saying about Coogan? He's like, I'm looking forward to seeing his daughter, see if she looks a bit dodgy like Coogan. She's going to give me a lot of new material. He's just like, oh, man. Instant like. Yeah, you got to get the instant like, man. Tyen Boot. He's in my intro. Shout out to G-Man Boxing. Where's the piss bottle? It's over there. I think the alpha male, beta male thing only matter to more superficial, less educated women think about things like that. I know too many alpha females. Honestly, I know very few. And I'm very happy about that. I know very few. I can think of one. And she's very annoying. Very annoying. But she's not a bad person. She's just very annoying. And very loud. That's the one thing that annoys. Probably that's more so that annoys me about her. She's so loud. Like literally, she'd be talking, and you'd be talking in front of her, and she'd be saying, like, I remember she moved house last year, and it's like, calm it down, like, I can hear you, like, I'm 2 feet away from you, and you're like, bah, 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 bah. Yeah, you're 2 feet away from you, 2 feet away from you. Absolute simp, definitely not, man. Absolutely, we don't be simping here. You see Zhang? Yeah, man, I seen it. Oh, I seen it. I seen it. Oh, I seen it. All right, that was a fun fight, man. G-Man, tie-in boot on the zone. I have a better chance than I definitely have a better chance than tie-in boot getting on the zone. I would tie-in boot. I couldn't do it. Could you picture him commentating on a fight? I couldn't do it. I could not do it. Oh, not me. Not me. Thank you. I was wondering. I was like, me? I was like, fucking me of all people. Definitely not. Ask anyone who knows me. They'll tell you exactly the same thing. Jamie, what's your thoughts on the comments in that video? I'm sure you know what I mean. Yeah, I do. They take it a bit far sometimes. I get, like, it's funny. I get it's banter, but like some of the things they say, they do take it a bit far. I'll admit that. I get the banter end of it, and that's fine. I get the banter, but when they're saying certain things, it's just a bit like, and I'm someone who has a very dark sense of humor. So it takes a lot for me to say that's maybe taking it a bit far, because I have a very dark sense of humor. Like, I've laughed at, like, things that most people get offended at, but when I see that, I'm just like, it is a little bit, it is a little bit. As I say, as an older man, been around the block a few times, I don't think the relationship thing is complicated. Always be respectful, put your boundaries in place, and stick with them. Job done. Yeah, that's pretty much the way I've been looking at it. Exactly, that's the way I kind of do it, Joe. I just kind of look at it, be like, that's the way I've been looking at it. You do your thing, I do my thing. Don't try and, domineer each other. Meet in the middle. Have respect. That's the way it's been. The way it is with me now, I mean, Jesus, I don't even know what the crack is. With me, with anything nowadays, I'm just kind of just whatever happens, happens. I don't even care. I'm not even worried anymore. I'm just kind of like, whatever happens, happens. Just fuck it. Fuck it. Whatever happens, happens. Lads, I'll leave a link in the chat there, right? I'm going to call it quits here. Been on for over an hour and a half. I'm going to rock on over to Ade's stream and call it quits here. Going to rock over there for about an hour. And then I'm going to get recording for some material for tomorrow. So I'll be straight in the chat. I'm going to hit him up. I'm going to chuck him something just to say hey. And we'll see you over there. For now, lads, we'll do another stream on Wednesday, as we always do. Wednesday is always the day. A big up to all you guys. Joe Stunner, nice to agree. My problem now, my soon-to-be ex, I'm very disrespectful how I talk, but I'm respectful the minute because she's boundaries. But yeah, no. I'm always, even girls I've used to go out with, I was always respectful to them. But you got to set boundaries, man. You can't just let someone walk all over you. I've seen that happen too many times. Way too many times. It's not good. On both sides, male and female. Not just men, both sides. But thanks, G-Man, and I'll head over. Yeah, lads, I'll big up, bless up every time. Thanks all. This has been a good stream. Been a good hour and a half. I'll catch you over in Ades. Have a good evening. Have a good night. We'll talk this tomorrow. Wednesday, we'll go live again. We'll talk about something else. Lads, peace. Enjoy your week.